going tonight? Yeah, this is a bit of forewarning that this will be a bit of a long video. It's all about Tasmania's current energy situation. If you followed some of my other videos on this, or you live in Tasmania, you might have heard a few things in the media. Nothing real special. Basically, what's going on at the moment is current energy storage. This little buddy down here, 16.8% full energy storage on the 22nd. It's 24th today, tonight. Something that number kind of misguides people on a little bit, but 6.5% of our storage, by the time it gets to 6.5%, it's essentially a puddle in the middle of a dam and not near the actual dam wall anymore. So they've changed their website a little bit from previous times. Never had any of this on there. This must have only been edited the other day. Tasmania is facing an unprecedented set of circumstances. Record low rainfalls over the recent months, faulting the Basslink cable, which are both very rare events. The rainfall thing's happened many times, and the Basslink cable's been out numerous times for up to a week at a time, and then goes again without them actually knowing what's going on. We're responding to this challenge with a range of contingencies that will allow them to manage the situation, minimise the impact on the Tasmanian community, intend to keep all Tasmanians informed about our activities as we work through this dry period. So, essentially they're blaming climate change, which is convenient. So today, our Energy Minister is fairly clueless. Matthew Groom. Two of the power station that's currently a hydro power station, where they're actually going to install 24 megawatts of temporary generation. Diesel generation. So he's been down and he's had a look at where it's all going, and they've actually got rid of the planning process, the approvals process that any other person in the world would need to do such a thing. No, they don't need it. We'll just skip all that. Don't worry about it. So there's no environmental impact studies, there's no bullshit that someone would have to go through to build a factory, or private enterprise in general. Anyone in private enterprise would have to go through. None of that, skip all that. We just need diesel generators. Get them going. So they've gone past their 60-day outage with the Basslink cable. They're having a hell of a time. You can imagine 44,000 volts DC of an interconductor going under the sea. It's going to be insulated bloody well. I'll see if I can dig up some photos of it as we're going through. But so that one doesn't tell you a great deal. We're going to get some rainfall over the next couple of days. It's rained all day today. Up in the northwest of the state, which isn't probably 25 mils or 30 mils of rain, so it's a bit of a difference. But here's their key points of what they're doing to change or to keep everything going. So they're only installing 24 megawatt, we just read before, up at the power station the Energy Minister went to today. Now they've said they're going to install 100 megawatts of containerised diesel generation to be able to generate at the end of March. So it's 3/4 of the way through February now, so still not there yet. 6 generators already in the state and a further 18 in Melbourne awaiting shipment. So this was 15th of February they released this, so they should be starting to come over. Securing an additional 100 megawatts of containerised generation, so they're prepping for the next month after that to have 100 megawatt more coming on down. Yeah, fair enough. So we're talking 200 megawatts of diesel generators. Crazy. Now what they don't want to tell you, $46 million a month to run 200 megawatts. And let's assume they're paying $1 a litre for diesel, 46 million litres of diesel. They won't be paying $1, they'll pay less than $1. 46 million litres. Think about that for a second. It's more diesel than a prime mover will use in its lifetime to drag stuff all over the country. More than what 5 will use. Ridiculous. In addition, 75 megawatts of gas-fired generation will be in place at the Tamar Valley Power Station by the end of March, early April. So they've currently got that going, doing 200 and something megawatts at the moment. It's the main thing keeping the state going currently, as the hydro dams get more and more inefficient because of the lack of head pressure on the turbine. Simple concept: higher the water is above the turbine, more pressure goes through it, less water you need to make a kilowatt. Simple. So basically, they're currently completely relying on a gas-fired steam combined cycle turbine, Denny and Belbane, which they thought they were going to sell and just not use. We don't need it, let's sell it. And then they're going to have 200 megawatt hours of diesel generation, and just hope that it rains or Basslink comes back online. Or Basslink's only good for about 50 to 60 megawatt hours. I'll find an exact number another time, but round numbers. I know we're talking megawatt hours, and about 1 megawatt hours is a lot, but when you're talking about running an entire state, it's not that much. Keep in mind, the cooler weather's starting to come to Tasmania. So for the next probably month, there's not so many heaters being used and things like that, not so many air conditioners. So for the next month, it's going to peter off a little bit. Doesn't mean industry's not working. And the thing I've struggled to find an answer to is, well, I don't struggle to find an answer to, struggle to try and let people know an answer to, and get through people's heads, explain, is everyone says get rooftop solar. Grid tie rooftop solar. There's a big problem with rooftop grid tie solar. It doesn't help with base loading. At 4 in the morning, while the aluminium smelter's still, it's melting aluminium, all the lights are on, while pumping stations are pumping their water over night time for cheaper, while they're using cheaper power. Ours is pumped from the Forth River, which is 20 kilometres from here, processed and then pumped. There's no solar. It's dark. There's no solar. So they still need to run diesel, gas, hydro turbines, or suck off the Basslink, which sucks off coal-fired power in mainland Australia, in Victoria, Traralgon, which is a brown coal-fired plant. Solar helps during the middle of the day. So solar will help run cafes, or it'll help run food places, which predominantly try and go for gas, obviously, for obvious reasons. Gas is better, more efficient, cheaper, instant. So the hospitality industry goes for that. It's going to building trades, things like that. If you actually look at it, get an idea of what uses the most energy in your house. For instance, electric hot water cylinders. I'm a plumber by trade. Most of Tasmania is still full of electric hot water cylinders, most of a lot of places. Natural gas network's not out there completely, not that great. Right, electric hot water cylinder can use 3.6 kilowatt hours. No worries. That's quite a bit of power. You're talking probably about only getting 12-15 kilowatt hours through a 100 amp service, depending on voltage drop, depending on supply voltage, and depending on how many phases you've got coming into your property. So solar power output's only going to be helping you with a few few small parts of the pie. Yeah, it's going to run things like that, but like cafes and shops and offices and things like that. I think when you think about the construction industry, that it generally don't use that much energy anyway. I mean, everything's brushless, cordless, quite efficient, and if you're anything like me, I generally bring all my batteries home and charge them overnight time, because I've got a large docking station charger that charges them all up. But we're talking about, they're a piss in a puddle, piss in the ocean. When you want to talk about energy usage, let's talk about 300-400 megawatts getting used by a aluminium smelter. Places like abattoirs and food processing factories. It's not only, people only think of the energies in looking at lights turned on. It's not all about that. The water that's pumped through a processing station to a food factory. We've got Simplot Australia, local to us, done work there before. They've got several big, like 4 and 6 inch water mains that come from several different places, so they've always got water. They always need water. They use a lot of water. I can only imagine how much power they use, let alone the amount of water they use. So all that water's pumped, all that water's processed, all that sewage or wastewater that comes out of the factory is all sent somewhere as well. In the factory, it's either heated or pressurized, or it's normally moved around by some means. That's all electricity. It's all more and more electricity. So when they say that every year, it says here, we produce around 900 gigawatt hours of electricity, 9,000, sorry, from hydropower. Our renewable energy, that's enough electricity to power over 50,000 small businesses in Australia. I call it bullshit. 50,000 small businesses. What if your small business is a printing press shop? Your small business is a commercial kitchen that's all electric. Some small businesses are an old lady selling craft supplies who's got 2 kilowatt hours of lights in her shop, and she only turns on in winter, and a little heater under the desk. Other small businesses could be a small welding and fab shop. They use thousands of kilowatt hours. They rely on the naivety of people, and they kind of play on that a little bit. So their total generating capacity is 2,600 megawatts, including 30 power stations. And they got Basslink as well. 2,600 megawatts. That's a bit, not huge, not crazy. It's a fair bit. Let's have a look at their classification of the gas generation. So in 1967 this happened before, and they built a power station. So it's not new. Not new. So the TVPS, Tamar Valley Power Station, commissioned in 2009, with 5 steam turbines, combined gas cycle, and open circuit gas generation. So 2 different things. One vents off the steam into the atmosphere, open cycle, and a combined gas cycle generation heats water up with its and condenses it, cools it back down again, a bit like nuclear energy. That can do 386 megawatts. So what they've currently got going is the combined cycle gas generation. So we've got 208 going at the moment, and the open cycle they're trying to get going again. So it's got a few photos. There we go. Might be a bit of a while constructing photos. Nothing too updated. Oh, there you go. Just a big infrastructure. So we're going to sell all of this. We don't need it anymore, says the Energy Minister. Clearly very much needed. So look at wind power. So we got a couple wind farms. One out of the Muswell Bay, there's 160 megawatt, there's 56 turbines there. I might take a drive out there when I get a chance and do some video out there of the wind turbines. There's two local ones as well. One's 165 kilowatt hour and the other one's 80 or 100. They're like within 30 k's of here. It's a 65 megawatt hour setup. Yeah, it's Bluff Point. There's another 75 megawatts out there. Now, wind turbines. Let's have a quick talk about wind turbines. As I just said, grid connected solar has its downfalls, big downfalls, because the big downfalls of solar is it doesn't help with base load and can help with night time. It's only good for 8 to 9 hours a day, providing you've got sunlight, so its drop off in energy production is massive if, quite massive if it's not sunny. Pretty simple. So they're asking for feedback about their energy supply situation and their response to it. They shouldn't be asking for that. So yeah, it's really 10.3% in storage left, and we're not going to have. Look, we've got the gas going. Gas is going now. The industry's still going. They've told them to back it off a bit. Yeah, we understand that. It's fair enough to ask. I believe. I'm not sure if it was Temco or Bell Bay Aluminium dropped 30 megawatt hours out. That's a 10% chunk of their work. Very nice of them to do so. But there's a lot of other big users out there that, you know, use a couple megawatts a year that they're probably not factoring in. The point is, what happens when the lights do go out? There's going to be hell break loose, essentially. Can't imagine the implications on the healthcare system, on sanitation. Power goes out, the pumps go off, the sewage plants go down. And what do? You can't start releasing raw sewage out to the ocean or just leaving it anywhere. It's got to be processed. So they can't let it run out. So say we get our 328 megawatts of gas going flat out. It's alright. Get that going flat stick. And then 200 megawatts of diesel going flat stick. So we've got 530 megawatts. Well, that doesn't really hold a candle to the, what did they say, 2,600? I think it was 2,600 megawatts. Yeah, 2,600. Over. 2,600 megawatts. No Basslink either. So they're in a corner, if you ask me. Quite seriously in a corner. Because is the amount of megawatt hours they can produce, so we're going to say less than 500, sufficient. So another big important factor in all of this rainfall issues, and rainfall issues are one thing, but they were meant to stop exporting power at 35% storage. So if they had stopped at 35%, we wouldn't be here. If they hadn't flogged the date out of the Basslink cable, we wouldn't be here. we wouldn't be in this situation. We would have had heaps more energy. If they'd asked the big consumers to back off a little bit earlier, we would have been fine. If they promoted energy use savings, things like that, within big government companies, big governments, hospitals, if they implemented a bit of that kind of stuff, they'd be fine. Absolutely fine. But no, they sent it all over to Victoria, collected carbon credits when we had a Green and Labor governments, coalition government, whatever you want to call it, collected carbon points and rebates and tax dodges, blah 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 blah. If they had not of, we'd still have power. If they had not of, they wouldn't be bringing massive diesel gensets in and cost themselves a fortune. Like, they short-term gain for massive long-term pain. Because every business in Tasmania will be trying to take legal action against them when they run out of power. It's near inevitable. Everyone with sick children, everyone with old people that need healthcare constantly. They can't just say, well, looks like we're turning it off. They're in trouble. If they've only got 500 megawatt of generating capacity before winter, geez, they better hope it rains. Now, a big thing with the rain. Now, 2 weeks ago now, we had massive dumping, like 120 mils in places. It come down hard for 2.5 days. Gave me as a plumber so much work, heaps of work. Everything flooded, all the stormwater systems blocked up. Now, we actually need a certain kind of rain to keep hydro dams full as well. Big deluges like that aren't bad. Like, they get a fair bit of water into hydro storage, but they also cause a lot of damage to property and things like that. So I can think of 5 commercial businesses I've personally put groundwater, loading dock, etc. some pumps in, so 500, 600, 700 watt pumps that when they flood or when loading docks fill up with water, they pump out water. That's a lot of extra wattage that's used to evacuate water that got in somewhere it shouldn't have. Then there's the sewer. There's a lot of stormwater getting into the sewer infrastructures, which means they've got to pump it somewhere and then it goes in with all the black water, if you will, all the actual sewer, and then it's got to be all treated, so it's all extra volume that has to be 1 pumped, 2 treated. So that's all massive amounts of energy. And people's roofs leak in their houses and their carpet gets wet. So then all of a sudden there's dehumidifiers and blowers, and the emergency guys that do all the carpet cleaning and that, they hate it. Get a big storm, they're busy for days and days and days, all around the clock, drying things out. So when you start thinking about that kind of stuff, or cold weather, it comes with it. Everyone flicks their electric heater on, everyone flicks their clothes dryer on because they can't hang their clothes out on the line. I know it sounds petty, but it's loading on the hydro. So we actually didn't gain anything, didn't lose anything. We just stayed static for a whole week of energy use instead of dropping 1 point something % like they have been. So that was alright. It stayed static for a bit. What they need is a week of rain that's 25 to 40 mils a day, but a week of it straight. What happens is it wets the ground gets soaked. The water doesn't soak into the ground anymore, runs across the top, so it runs out of the hills, down the hills, into the hydro dams where it's stored, and it stays there. What they need to do is not turn these diesel machines off, generators off straight away. They don't need to turn them off straight away. They don't need to turn the Tamar Valley Power Station off straight away. What they need to do is get back above 30% energy, 35% energy storage, because if they don't, they'll fuck it up for next year. Excuse my French, that's what they'll do. And when you get a cold winter that lasts a long time, all electric heaters, heat pumps, reverse cycle air conditioners, or we get a hot snap next summer where there's no rain for a month, 2 months, and lots of air conditioners, that kind of thing, cooled rooms. It sounds big, like even a refrigerator running 15 minutes longer than it normally would. You times that by 100,000 households. But it's big energy when you times it by that far. So I know I've probably banged on, carried on, dragged this video out a long way. If you're interested in Tasmania's energy security, you've probably watched most of it. If you've got to here, congratulations. Send me a question about it. Ask some questions, I'll answer them. This whole situation was caused by mismanagement, not climate change. Yes, dry climate, but they did used to have controls in place and they'd stop wasting the energy, stop exporting energy when they got to 35%. They shouldn't end up down at 16%. It's Wednesday night, every Monday morning they update it, so it'll be the 28th, 29th, something like that. It'll be updated. I guarantee you it's not going to be at 16.8%. Unless it rains from now to then, it's not going to go up, it's only going to go down. I hope that the diesel generators are in and fired up by the middle to end of next month, because it's dropping 2,419 gigawatt hours in storage. That's it sounds big, but it's not big. Not big for 550,000 people in a state that's trying to produce product, do things. Pumps for irrigators, some of them are big, like they're 30 and 50 kilowatt pumps. I know that's not gigawatt hours big, but they run for long periods of time. Yeah, it's a dire situation, unfortunately. Can't wait till for the day when it's all good again. But till then, we'll keep an eye on it. I'll make another video in a week or two, I suppose, depending on ups, downs. As soon as we've got some diesel generators around the place, I'm going to go and find them, make a video. We might even go and have a look at a few hydro dams and make a bit of a video of some of the ones close to me, and have a bit of a chat about what they look like now, what they looked like previously, and we'll go from there. Thanks for watching. If you got this far, that's amazing. Thank you very much. And look, even if you think there's something that the company could do, I might even go and put it forward to them. Go and see them, write them a letter, do something. Thanks heaps. Catch you next time, and keep you updated on Tasmania's energy situation.